favor. This is one more, please.
Sometimes I have a notepad because I've developed that because I want to be a coach one day. And that's what I'm kind of going towards. I grab a notepad and I start writing. I'm like, this is what I would do. This is what I think Josh should do.
Nef the professor. Nef the studious guy.
I mean, I try.
That's awesome.
I want to one day. I want to be some type of like tactician or be somewhere in the field,
involved in the game, not so much as a spectator, but as someone participating in the game in a way.
Have you thought about, like, say for example in the near future, like doing a course? You know, I know U.S. soccer has several, and the beginning stages are free. Yeah. But as you go on, creo que te cobran.
Yeah.
But you do kind of have that like instructional type of person more than regañón.
Yeah, well, I don't see it that way personally, but of course nobody would see it that way.
Yeah.
But I am taking those courses at the moment.
Well, that's
like
good.
I'm taking like a little bit at a time. More than anything, I got it because I've been already coached. I've coached before. I've been like an assistant type manager coach to varsity girls team. In my senior year of high school, I was able to meet the coach, and I got along pretty well with them, and he allowed me to be with them. He allowed me to take photographs and, travel with the team and give them suggestions and whatnot. And a lot of those things, like, it was after the first LAFC game last year here at home that I ended up seeing him. We met at a bar, I think it was Mr. Tram's. We went on for like 4 hours just talking. And at the end of the night, he's like, dude, a lot of the things that you told me about this player and this and that, because it went more than just the football. It went more like I would notice like this player's not kind of doing what they're usually doing. They don't seem like they're enjoying it. What maybe something else is going on.
The deeper the personal level.
Yeah, the deeper the personal level, which is more of like, which is why I fell in love with coaching, really, because it's like you get to be more in depth with the sport and the person.
Awesome, dude.
So a lot of that stuff, he told me years later. He was like, dude, like, you got a lot of that shit spot on.
That's
and
good,
I didn't tell you at the time because I didn't want to get to your head. But like now I can tell you that you're not in school. I was like, dang, you should have told me back then.
No, definitely, man. Let's take a little step back. Here at Otra, por favor.
Yeah.
We like to talk about life, culture, and football. And our special guest here, Neftali Ochoa.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, dude. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm happy to be back on the mic because I had been away for a couple weeks.
Yeah, dude. La raza te clama. You've been out, and everybody was like, "Hey, where's Coque?" And I'm like, "He's on a trip."
Nah,
¿Trajiste la mochila? No, güey.
Richie didn't tell you that he fired me, and then he just brought me back. He's like, all right, come back, okay.
Usó una palanca.
Usó una palanca. Hey, he's talking about language.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm a hitter and quitter, man. Ahí te dejo ya.
But dude, so happy to be back and recording this episode with a huge person here in the local Austin community, in the local Austin FC community, the Madridista community, throughout the nation and the world. We're talking about some huge clubs here. We're talking about something that's very important, near and dear to all of our hearts. And Nef here has spoken. He's speaking about the game of football in a way that many that I don't hear a lot of people speak with the same feeling and like just using the words that you're using, man. So like, I want to kind of backtrack a little bit. Tell us about you, man. Where did you grow up? What was your family like?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me here. I mean, it's honestly an honor to be here. And I was born in Mexico. I was born in Durango, and I left Durango when I was turning 6. I got here. I've never been back since. but I had my little football beginnings over there, supporting Santos Laguna.
Guerrero.
Yeah. Those those old timer teams where they had. I mean, Santos is not like a big Mexican team, but they've had an amazing amount of amazing players.
They've had squads.
They've had squads. There's players I didn't get to watch, and now I've been able to go back and watch games, highlights and whatnot. Like El Rosado Maitis, El Pony Ruiz, El Borghetti. El Borghetti. A lot of Mexican fans will tell you exactly who he is.
Dude, one of my favorite forwards of all time.
Have you had a chance to watch Acevedo con el Escorpión Dorado?
Oh, yes, I just watched it 2 days ago.
And he literally talked about Santos being the team que no es el grande, no es el chico, pero es el que como te incomoda.
Te incomoda siempre.
Because like América, I mean, Santos y Pachuca son los dos que siempre nos han dado más
batalla.
Batalla y aparte más momentos donde lloramos porque ya sea semifinal o final, those two teams are always end up taking us out.
Ya, pues es que, bueno, yo a lo que he visto de Santos también es mucho corazón. Mucho, lo que es la institución siempre ha sido con mucho corazón. O sea, todo, desde que entra un jugador al club, se le inculca eso. Que es algo que ves tú que es en casi todos los equipos a los que sigo. Ya sea Austin, Madrid o Santos. Es una cultura muy presente en los jugadores. Pero sí, Santos con todos sus jugadores, con todas sus estrellas, fue el primer equipo al que yo vi y dije, wow, sí, de aquí soy, son mis raíces. Y así lo describo ahora, son mis raíces. Después ya nosotros nos venimos aquí a Estados Unidos. Curiosamente, mi primer día en Estados Unidos fue mi primer día de escuela. Del autobús.
Haz de cuenta que
right into
al fuego.
Como dicen, fresh off the boat. Del autobús a la clínica a tomar las shots a la escuela. No sabía ni dónde vivía, yo creo. No me acordaba muy bien. Pero sí, así fue el primer día. Y ahí en más, pues, ya crecí yo aquí y pues hasta la fecha. He podido viajar poquito aquí.
So you were in Durango, you lived there till you were 6, and then you moved. Where'd you move to?
Here, Austin.
Oh, you moved here to Austin. Right on.
Yeah, so I never lived.
For a long minute.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? I'm turning 24. I don't know. It's been a long time.
For those of you who don't know, we got upcoming birthday coming up. Next Friday. So
next Friday.
A ver qué le mandan.
Sí.
Just drop your registry.
Just tell you what, if you can put all the money in this Venmo account, and I'll make sure he gets it.
También, see me at the birthday store.
Hey,
on
yeah.
Sunday, lo que me quieran regalar.
Or Hop Squad on Sunday morning.
Dude.
Todo el día ahí vamos a estar.
But such a big transition at 6 years old, man. That must have been something like. Talk to me about some of those early memories of adjusting to life here at 6 years old.
Man, that was a big culture shock because even in the diet, I was even in like the way that I started eating here, big difference. But the biggest difference was probably in Mexico. I was raised by 7 women, almost pretty much actually only women. My grandpa on my mom's side passed away, unfortunately, before I was born. And my grandpa on my dad's side wasn't really present. My dad was already over here by the time I was 3. So by the time I was 6, I knew I had a dad. I heard his voice. I talked to him, and I maybe seen a picture, but I didn't have that presence there, right?
Yeah.
So until I came here permanently, I was raised by all women. So that was a big shock. Now having my dad around all the time, right? Of course, the language thing was huge. I honestly didn't start speaking fluent English until like 4th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are probably my biggest culture shocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to say, for example, like not growing up with your dad, what is something you remember growing up with, women, like 7 women? You were like, man, this is something that like maybe as you grew up older, like, oh, it's different, but it makes sense.
Man, it makes you a lot more sensitive, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
yeah, for
more
sure.
in tune with your emotions.
More in tune with that.
More able to communicate a little bit better.
I think that might be a thing, man.
Yeah.
But I can make you. It depends on how you take it, really.
Yeah.
Because you have to be like in tune with like who you want to be in that sense. Because you can either, like, you can be very masculine or very feminine or whatever, right? I've found that I want to be more like, I'm in the middle. Like, I'm not here or there, right? I like to, like, if you're mad, you're going to know I'm mad. I'm going to express that I'm mad. But I'm not just, but I might not just tell you right away. I'm going to work through it, right? Like, that's my feminine side saying, you know what, I'm upset. I want you to know I'm upset. I guess my more masculine side saying, yeah, I'm just gonna work through this shit. Fuck it. I'll just get through it.
Yeah. No, that's great to hear you say, man, because I don't think it gets said enough. Like, in our world, you're either the A or B, you're the man or female. But
you're gonna have both.
I agree with you. Like I think we're a little bit of mixture of both. Both sides, and some of us lie a little bit more one side or the other, and
there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
There's no right or wrong way, but knowing who you are and where you stand, that's the important part.
That's the important part, actually, like knowing yourself and how you want to display your emotions. If you're a very emotional person, show it. Like, there's no wrong way of doing it. Well, rather, there's wrong ways of doing it, but there's right ways to do it for you. Like I said, if you're emotional and you want to express it. Just be able to have that communication later on to be able to display it and not affect everyone else around you.
Yeah, I think that's something like for me. I grew up in a Christian environment. You really can't express emotions. You really can't. You can't really tell someone how you feel, because it makes it either weak or it makes it arrogant.
Yeah.
So there's no like they don't know like, hey, this is how you balance it out. So you grow up. I mean, one, insecurities, because doing like all this back and forth from Mexico to the U.S. And then 2, when you get like to you're a teenager, and then you have to either stand up to yourself and fight, or take it to your chin. Yeah. And it's kind of like you don't want to take it to your chin, because then so. But as I got older, it's kind of like, nah, yeah, me valió, and just express how I feel.
Yeah, you just gotta like I said, you just gotta find yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because I will tell you, I have both sides of me where I'm just like, I mean, I can either be mad to the point where I'm like, okay, I can let this go, or I'm like, okay, nah, we're gonna go. Like, I will fight, I will throw hands. But most of the time, it'll be like, you know what, this is not important enough for me to waste my time on.
Yeah.
I gotta value that sense of like, is this really worth it, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a very good
way why am I gonna waste 5 minutes of my time on this?
Yeah.
Where I could spend 5 minutes of that time, let's say, driving home and doing something I want to do, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's really how I would like to look at it. Yeah.
Man,
that's something that like we never think about that, especially like 24 years old.
Yeah. You got a certain sense of emotional maturity about you that I think for a 24-year-old, because it's great, because me at 24 I was on some bullshit, that's for sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like,
I'm 37, I'm still some bullshit. So good learning lesson. Like, thank you, Nef.
Free advice.
I know.
So no, I mean, a lot has to do with like also how my family, like my dad's side, has that influence over me, where I'm like, Okay, well, I've seen the decisions they've made.
Yeah.
I was like, I can decide to let their decisions and learn from that and let that affect me, or I can try to be, at least on the emotional side, be a lot smarter about it and try to move from there and see, okay, maybe if I can't be more successful or whatever, I can at least be more at peace with myself and like let things roll smoother for me.
And one thing, like say, as we grow older, you always want to get the best out of both worlds, like from your mom and your parents' side. Like my mom's side, they're very, como que they're very close together, and they like to just literally every, like say for them, every holiday or every time they can get together, se juntan.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a little too much because they have a sense of codependency. And now with my dad's side, they have some bien relajentos. They know how to joke around. They have like the best comebacks. They, every time you think of something, it's always funny because my grandpa was the same way. But there's also a sense of like poverty. So, you got to, like for me, it's like, okay, I do want to be close to my family, but I also don't want to be codependent from my family.
Yeah, that's something that I like struggle a lot with, because I'm like, man, I love my family, but to what point do I really want to like depend on them emotionally as much as I have in the past? Because one of the things like about me, and as you come to know me, like I will not care what certain people say about me. Like there can be whoever it is, or like at pickup, right? Let's say where at pickup and somebody to know, oh, you suck, like you this and that, right? I don't care. I legitimately don't care. But if it's like my dad, who even though he doesn't go watch me play, and he tells me, oh, pinche tronco, I'm like, damn, dude, like, that shit kind of hurt.
Esa dolió.
Yeah, like, and just because it's my dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Not because, like, not looking at it from the, my dad's watched a lot, like, he played a lot, like, he must know. No, it's not that. I know my dad doesn't play. I know my dad doesn't know, like, tactical finishes and whatnot, or cómo controlar bien un balón and whatnot. I know he doesn't know any of that. But it's the fact that it's my dad to me, that it's like, God, that hurt, But right now, that's where I'm at. It's like, how much of my emotional balance do I give to them?
Yeah.
Even like getting together, because my dad's side is not as back together all the time as it is. Like we'll get together for holidays and whatnot, but when it comes to like birthdays and whatnot, it's more like everybody's kind of doing their own thing, whatnot. We'll do it if we have like the time, but when things really get rough, like my uncle had an accident a couple weeks ago, and honestly, I don't know how he's here. He had a dump truck. Basically, the wheel was on top of him already. He got squished. The helicopter had to come get him. We got to the hospital thinking he was gone. He's here. He didn't have a broken bone or anything.
Oh, damn.
Nothing.
That's
He's able to walk. He's able to. I mean, of course, he still has to recover. He can.
Yeah.
He still has some damage. But in a moment like that, the whole family got together.
Yeah.
And it's only my dad's side over here. My mom's side's not. I mean, she has a cousin here, but that's it. My grandma, she'll come from Mexico ever so often. But in terms of like family, she only has my dad, my brother, and I. And I guess my uncles as well, right? And so, but in that second, dude, we all just stopped everything in that second. Yeah. My cousins, same thing with my cousins. My cousins, one of them's pregnant. The other one has 3 kids. And it's hard to balance all of that out. And one of the one that has 3 is one of them's pretty like months.
Infant, yeah.
Yeah, it's child, like baby, newborn. And was able to, say, okay, we got to get on the go. we went with my uncle right away. So we're that type of family where we're not immediately like close. But in the big moments, like when we really need it, we'll be there.
That's good.
Yeah. So I guess that's really what matters. Yeah. But we also do know how to hurt each other pretty well.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
That's every family.
Yeah, I mean.
I think when it comes to family, especially particularly parents, we can get the best qualities, but we also can get some of the shittier qualities too. And a lot of times it's like that growth and the experience and the maturity that, you know, we have through experiences in our life where we have to unlearn certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to put it on a balance sheet, really. You got your pros and your cons.
You got to look at something that you learned from your parents and like look at it critically, and maybe that's not the best way to think about it.
Yeah, and dude, like I've noticed this more with my cousin, because she got pregnant really young, but she has, like, I've seen it in her and how she's raised her kids. I was like, okay, I know your dad didn't do that with you, like, and we've talked about it. It's like, yeah, no, I don't want to do it that way. But I don't want to do it this other way because I don't want to spoil them and this and that. But we got to find a balance to where, like, what is the right way to raise the kids? And she came to a conclusion where it's like, I can't raise them too much this way, can't raise them too much that way. But I got to at least instill the values in them that I think are right. And I guess as a parent, that's as much as you can do. I myself, not having kids, can't fully comprehend that, but I can see where she's going. Where, like, yeah, I mean, you can only really try to give it your best attributes and pass them on down to your kids. Because you can't be too much of that side, too strict or too loose, right? My dad was a little too strict in a way, not necessarily. But he was also there's a lot of places in Austin I've never been to. We weren't like going on vacations or this or that. Like, let's say downtown. I know where the hospital is. I don't know a lot more. Before I started driving, I didn't know a lot more than that. I know that actual UT campus was there. Like, I didn't know how to drive around, right? All I really knew was the places where he worked and all that stuff. A lot of that stuff, like, you'll have this area, this particular area, because sometimes I've been driving around with Hernan or with Primo and the guys, and they're like, oh, they won't give me directions, and I'll have to get on the maps, and they're like, you don't know this area? Like, no, dude. Like, I grew up in Maynard. Like, I went from school to the house, and my parents drove me around, and that's it. Like, I don't know much more. And when I've been driving around, when I started driving, I kind of just, you know, I was like 16, 17. Yeah. I was driving to Domain and, you know, maybe downtown. So I had friends in college. We would go there to the dorms and whatnot. But that's as much as I knew. I knew Pflugerville. I knew Pflugerville pretty well, but that's it. Like, at Round Rock, I don't know jack shit almost.
So you knew more like the east side, but not like the west side of.
Yeah, no, I didn't know like Romberg and all of that. Like, I know like the streets. I know like there's a lot of history in there, and I know that, you know, like that's been going on with like the gentrification of it and whatnot. But until I started driving, my dad was not taking me around to all these places. There's a lot of taquerias here that, like, I'm like, like, they've been here, like, God knows how long, and I didn't know anything about this. Or, like, when I would go out, or it would be, like, late night, and my friends would be like, oh, let's go get some tacos. Well, I know Whataburger's open. Like, you know, like, that's all I knew. I didn't know much more than that. So that's one thing that, like, I don't want to pass on to my kids. Like, I want, whether it's Austin or wherever it is, I want to make sure that I have that in my kids to be able to be like, okay, we're going to take you on a little vacation, or you're at least going to get to know your city.
Something, yeah. That's good.
No, I think, dude, I'm so glad that you mentioned getting to know different pockets of your neighborhood and your city. And sometimes, because I grew up in Houston, which is one of the biggest cities in the United States, but it wasn't until I left Houston to come to study here and went back when I had my own car. You know, a car means freedom in a way.
Right.
'Cause
Yeah.
you can move yourself from point A to point B, and you start realizing like, oh, look at this pocket, look at this taqueria, look at this, look at this spot, But the thing is that like the places that we live, whether it be Austin, whether it be Houston, they're designed for the car, bro. So without a car,
You're lost.
You're SOL.
you're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use a bus system, but I mean, it's you're not gonna get the same level of knowledge of where you're moving, or you're just not gonna use it as much.
See, and that's something that you right now that I don't even know. Like, there's like the metro to get to the stadium and whatnot.
The rail or the
I don't know how to do any of that, dude. I think if I go to New York, I would like panic. I do not know how to use a rail system.
Yeah.
I do not know where to buy a ticket. I don't know, like, there's the station here. I do not know any of that.
Yeah.
Estaría chido, like, it would be cool, like, say, if you ever get a chance.
Yeah,
Hazte una perdida de
want
esas.
to. I honestly,
Because
like,
this is
I'm waiting.
life-changing moment.
Dude, it is.
Yeah, 'cause
It's
like,
enjoyably,
damn,
like...
for the first time,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't have to drive? Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
No, dude. That
You don't have to worry about, Uber or anything. That's el metrito y
'cause-
vámonos.
Yeah, it'll be nice. Cause I see it here all the time.
Yeah.
Right, going from Hopscotch to the stadium. It's like I see the train going by.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, like, well, where would I have to go? Like, what would I have to do? So like little things like that.
Yeah.
It's something that like I'm like I want to experience that shit.
Nah, man. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love like my life currently where I'm at. But one thing I very much hate is commute. Yeah, I live in Cedar Park, so I'm in traffic like a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and I work my job site that I work at is downtown. So when I think back to where some of like the kind of the happiest moments of my life when it comes to commute or when it comes to just like city living is when I lived in North Campus, where I would just ride a bike to everywhere I needed to go.
Yeah.
And when I was in Valencia for like 9 months, dude, you absolutely don't need a car there. You just train, bus, everything is so well connected. You're like 15 minutes from the beach, 5 minutes from the stadium. Like, that's all you need to go, right?
And and like I live in the country right now, right? I live in Maynard.
Yeah.
If I don't have a car, one thing I'll tell you right now, there is no bus station at the corner of my neighborhood or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
If I don't have a car, I'm gonna have to Uber somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, like or have someone pick me up. I do not have that access in the country. No.
Man, that's like, say, for me is I'm from Mexico City, so I learned how to be, how to go in the metro system and ride the bus over there. And I went from there to Galveston, and Galveston is easy to get around because it's small. You can walk pretty much from one side of the island to the other. It's like 4 miles.
Oh.
Pero one thing that I said, and when I got my car, I was like, you know what? First thing I'm gonna do when I get my car is vámonos, like, go to Houston as much as I can. Because I mean, I had a taste of it and I enjoyed it. So I'm like, I want to just go around it and explore it. So there will be times on a Saturday night after work that I just get off and I just drive around Houston and me perdía. Like, I'll find my way out without looking at. Back then, you didn't have like Google Maps working until like now. So
MapQuest.
But it's not even like MapQuest. I'm like, okay, no, una norteada. Me metía unas perdidas. But I got to like learn how to drive in Houston.
Yeah.
I know pretty much where everything is.
Yeah.
Or more so, like I know how to get to a place without having to look at my map or without having to look at my phone. So, and then coming here, it was like one of those things that it's Austin. Like, hey, it's I-35, Mopac, y todo ese pedo.
It's not really that much.
It's not really that much.
Compared to other major cities. But
Pero, man, like, say, for example, for you, is once you started driving, you got to experience it. What was it like for you? Like, I have my car and I'm actually experiencing more in the city.
Man, that's when the bad decisions start coming in. When you have all that freedom, really. I mean,
you know what to do with it.
Yeah, you don't. Like, I had a friend. Well, we'll say a friend, right? That I was with 24/7, right? Take her to work and whatnot. And that's really where I got my experience driving. Because I would be going from Maynard to Desa Road to Capra Plaza, right? Or, or we would go downtown, right? We're like, oh, let's go to soccer, let's go to this and that. That's where I started. Like or let's go to Domain. Take me to Domain. Let's go on a date there or whatnot. That's where I really, got my experience driving. And before that, I was scared to drive to Pflugerville. My driving before I even graduated high school was more from my house to Stonehill. And it's back roads. And that's it. Yeah, I dealt with 3 lights. That's it.
Change.
I go downtown. I'm like, God damn, I don't want this shit.
No, I think every person is different. Like, Richie, are you a city or country guy?
I'm a city for sure.
Yeah,
I cannot live in the country. We went to Hawaii. We stayed at Hilo, Big Island, and a lot of it is country and farming. I'm like, man, I need some action. This is cool sceneries, but hey, ¿dónde les madre? And then we went to Maui, and it was like more city. Like, okay, this is more me.
Yeah.
See,
you're between, right?
I'm kind of in between.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be more city. I'm kind of drifting more towards country. I don't know if that's suburbia kind of.
Nah, you're just getting old.
Brainwashing me.
Hey, I'm old too then.
But
you've been old.
but Nef, I think what would you consider yourself between that, like, city and country?
I'm right there with you because I love this. I'm not gonna have Q2 Stadium in the country.
You're not gonna have that in the country.
I'm not gonna have that. Right?
Well, we do have Circuit of the Americas, Coda in the country.
That's a whole hour.
Yeah,
but I mean, where I'm at.
But it's in the country.
It is in the country.
So
you're right. But also try living there right now. Try to buy a house over there. Oof. So
I don't buy houses. I just live in the couches.
Yeah, well, I need to find
me. Buy houses. He buys couches.
Right. That's more like a $5,000 couch.
Fuck your couch,
right? But yeah, no, I consider myself more like in the middle. I love the calmness of the country which is most of the time, but I like having a decent commute towards a more city like Austin. A lot of the times I've thought of like, man, I'm gonna try to get an apartment somewhere in Austin where my commutes to Q2 Stadium or to the Domain, to the areas that I frequent the most, they're a lot easier, they're a lot shorter. But then I'm like, man, but then I'm going to get myself into such a hassle of having to deal with, like, neighbors and whatnot. And I'm just like, I like my peace.
Yeah.
I like, just like how I like watching the games by myself and being calm and being able to, just have that moment. I like it. I like doing that at home. Like,
Te acostumbraste.
Sí, no, y es que that's how my dad is.
Yeah.
My dad is not, he will not go to a party. I will tell you that. He won't go to, he'll do it for my mom, right? He'll be like, yeah, está bien, vieja, vamos. But he won't be like, oh, guys, alístense que el sábado el vecino tiene una fiesta. O que el patrón, que esto. No. And if he goes to it, he'll go for like an hour, come back.
You'll be like this the whole time.
And I've gone to be the same way. Like when I was with this girl, go to parties, right? And I'm just like,
just looking at your clock.
Yeah, I'm just like, God, you don't want to watch a movie? You're not hungry? Like damn, like I want to go home. Like it's not that I don't feel. I've learned to realize that it's not that I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah,
it's just not me. Like, I'm not a big party guy. I can be. Like, I do it, like, last night, right? I can be in a group of, like, a big gathering, concerts and whatnot. But it's not very often. Like, it has to be a specific thing to it. I'm not just going to one night go and be like, okay, guys, you know what? Fuck it, let's go to Domain tonight. Let's go to 6th. That's not necessarily me. I will, once in a while, cuando traes la ley seca, que te dan ganas de una cervecita.
Sí.
Esto que lo otro.
Right.
Other than that, if I'm not, like, craving or wanting to go out, I'm not going to. I will stay home. I will watch the Real Madrid documentaries all night. I would watch the Austin FC soccer compilations all night.
Yeah.
Highlights.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
That's a good segue into our religions, right? So Richie is a Christian. I'm probably agnostic. I don't know. Maybe Christian. I don't know.
I'm Christian. Well, I consider myself a believer, but Christian. I'm like gordos, except for my parents.
But I specifically want to hear about Nef's religion, which is
Man.
the beautiful
Yeah.
the beautiful game.
So let's start with now talking us another plug is you went from now you're learning how to drive, going out, and now you're like deciding to go to Vegas to watch a game. And it was not just a game; it was like El Clásico,
El
El Clásico de Clásicos.
In the SoFi Stadium? Or
At the Allegiant.
Allegiant. Okay,
Mhm.
but amazing stadium.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was before we go into it is was it your first time going to Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think?
Man.
Tiene la cara como que algo te pasó.
No, not necessarily,
and like
dude,
that.
but
Whatever happened in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
could
but-
also say on the podcast.
yeah, right.
It's over. This was over 21. So.
Over 21. Yeah, no, nothing crazy happened, but it's not a place where I could be here a whole week.
Okay.
Because just like I won't go out to like clubs and party out like that. Vegas is a party central, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the Strip, of course. That's not for me.
Yeah.
I love the walking, right? I love
Yeah.
walking around and everything's so close. We walked to the stadium. Like the hotel had literally a whole entrance,
That's
whole
awesome.
road to the
Which
stadium.
hotel y'all stayed at?
We stayed at the Luxor,
Okay.
but the Luxor is practically connected to the MGM.
Yeah.
And so that you just
You
everything's
probably-
connected
yeah.
over there. It's incredible. But I could not stay there for more than like 2-3 days. Maybe 3 days would have been perfect.
What
We
do you
stay there for 2.
What do you think of the food over there? Did you get to experience the food in there?
Not much, dude, because which is why I say 3 days would have been nice because it was a 2-day trip and it was quick.
Oh, voila. Okay.
And more than anything, because of my role within Peña, everything was like quick. We got there Thursday night. We checked into hotel, got a nap. Because, flights, they're draining sometimes. And it's not a long flight, but I had work that morning, and it was a long flight for me. So we rested, and then it's like, okay, let's go out, walk around for a little bit. We literally only got to walk around that because that Friday night we had a party with all the peñas. So, and it was I forget the name of the club that it was at, but it's at the top of the MGM hotel.
Okay.
We went to that party, and it was really nice. Not too crazy, It was nice, but more than anything, it was networking. And when I went there, I went already as the director of media for the Peña. So I was able to get, business cards from Real Madrid marketing representatives, and I think
From Real Madrid,
From
not just
Real
like
Madrid. No.
un compa que si conoce a alguien,
No.
from the team.
No es
Okay.
el primo no es el amigo del primo del amigo de. No.
Okay.
This is like the guy that works for the club. And so I was able to get the business cards and was able to network with the other peñas and whatnot. So that itself was a wonderful night, And, the view from outside the hotel and whatnot, seeing Vegas like 1 a.m, whatnot.
Yeah, it's
It was
phenomenal.
beautiful.
The lights.
Phenomenal, yeah.
Action.
It's something that I did really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
That's good.
The sight.
Yeah.
And then we went back to the hotel. I had to wake up around like 10. So I was able to get some sleep in and get breakfast. But at 11, we had a whole... the president called me, at the party he told me, he's like, hey, there's a meeting tomorrow morning with the marketing executives of the club. And I want you to be there.
The president of the
Peña,
Peñas.
of the Peñas.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm already
huevo?
like, I'm like, hell yeah, like, of course I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm essentially, I mean, very vaguely, right? But I'm essentially having a meeting with Real Madrid, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, fuck yeah, like I'm gonna go. I don't care. I'll sleep less if you need me to. So we went to that meeting, and during that meeting, the Florentino Perez got to the hotel, the players got to the hotel, and I got to know, like, certain things that we discussed in that meeting were like the Peñista card that they have now. A lot of that stuff that just came out, I was able to know from a while back, like from that trip to Vegas. They explained to us like, okay, these are the changes, what we want to do, and this is what we want to do within USA.
Okay.
How this is going to be better for that. After that meeting was the game, and so with tailgate and whatnot. After the game, we went back to the hotel to take a nap because our flights were at like 4 a.m.
Because you guys were coming back Sunday to watch the game here.
I did.
You did?
Hernan, I think he felt a little jet lagged or whatnot, so he wasn't able to make it. But part of the reason why I pushed so hard to come back to the Austin FC game was because I wanted to say I went to 2 professional football matches, 2 states, in 2 days. Almost as a reporter would, right?
That's the life of Nef right there, man.
That's the life I want to have one day.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Going from state to state, seeing 2 huge matches, and in the sport that you love, and kind of like think of as something like a sacred space.
Yeah.
But one thing we've mentioned a lot is the Peña and the Peña Madridista. Can you, for those of us who don't know, give us a little insight into what that is and what role you play in that organization? So
the Peña and any Peña, Real Madrid Peña, is essentially like your Los Verdes for Real Madrid, right? So it's a organized group recognized by the clubs, right? So Peña Madridista Austin is now and has been since like a week before that Vegas trip officially recognized by Real Madrid.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
this is a logo here.
That's our official logo.
It's a lovely logo. It's got the capital and it's got the.
Can you send me the graphic?
For sure.
Kind of embossed on the Real Madrid logo.
I can put it.
Yeah,
it's pretty dope.
Yeah. So they officially recognized us that week, and essentially what a recognized Peña allows you to do is a lot of more insights on the club, right? So, and benefits and whatnot. A Peña will be able to tell you, like for this Clásico, they would able to tell you months in advance, like, hey, the club is coming. Be ready, right? Or they will tell you, like, the tickets for Clásico, I don't know if you guys saw the prices. Some were like 500, 400. Austin FC type deals, right?
Playoffs,
Yeah.
Damn.
So those seats that we were able to get were like, I mean, still expensive, but it's 300, 360, right? So compare that to paying like 500.
The game in Vegas.
Yeah, the game in Vegas, right? So you go from paying close to $700 to paying like half of it, a little less than half, right? So that's one of the benefits that we were able to get. But our main goal as a Peña, as a Real Madrid supporters group, is not just to expand the word of Real Madrid and get Madrid supporters. It's to expand La Liga knowledge. Because it's not just Real Madrid. And Real Madrid's a brand, Barcelona's a brand, but it's the league that is what makes these clubs so big, right? It's the competition within. So that's our thing. We want to expand people to grow and, love La Liga. Obviously, Premier League right now, it's huge. It's the best league in the world. And it's here in Austin. Like,
no, I was gonna say that the U.S. market is huge.
Yeah.
And the Premier League has managed to tap into that. A little bit of the Bundesliga has managed to tap into that. But like I think a lot of leagues look towards the Premier League and how it's European, kind of the top leagues look and see
because it is the top flight.
How they came to how it's been adopted in the U.S. and they're trying to. It's a competition always. It's always a competition. So you got to see how you can bring more fans and more knowledge to La Liga.
Yeah,
Make more people want to watch it. Yeah.
Absolutely, because like I said, Madrid and Barcelona are established brands.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go anywhere in the world and fill that stadium.
Yeah.
No
for
problem.
No
Pero
problem.
los otros,
But and that's something that we could go on and about forever, like projects like the Super League, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And why you might disagree or agree with it, but at the end of the day, you gotta see football as what it has become, which is now a business, right? And La Liga has us to expand that, right? To help them establish that market here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not doing it in terms of like selling you tickets to this or that. No. What we want to do is we want to say, okay, you're a Real Madrid fan. We're building a community here. Come watch the game with us.
More like brand awareness. Continue
brand
to bring
awareness,
awareness.
We're more like community building.
Yeah,
think so.
it's a community building. It's a
Yeah.
brand awareness. I mean, it all ties into the brand.
It ties into the
Yeah.
brand.
Everything ties together. But yeah, what we want to do is we want to build a community.
Mhm.
We know there's a lot of Madridistas in Austin. I know there's a lot of Barcelona fans. I mean, just like you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like for example, I know there's a Barcelona Peña here in Austin. I don't know where they're at.
They usually, last time I went, it was like 2019. They were at the Tavern.
Right. So I know they exist, but I haven't seen a page. I haven't seen anything. Of course, that's more because I'm more in the Madrid
You're
side.
in the Madrid side, yeah.
But even then, like I think the president of the Barcelona Peña hit us up like a day or two ago, and they wanted to collab.
That's badass.
Yeah, and we would love to collab.
Yeah.
Well, don't get me wrong, but also there has to be that timing, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we need to communicate better with them, so that we can make this project of growing La Liga and growing Barcelona and Madrid fan bases to be not compete with Austin FC, because I don't want a Madrid fan to compete with their time with Austin FC, but I want them to say, I love Real Madrid,
But Austin
FC is where I live. This is this is my city, right? And that's how I explain kind of like my my religion towards football. Santos is where I was born, where my beginnings. Real Madrid is where I love the sport, where I grew to love it truly. And Austin is my present. Austin is where I'm at, where I live. This is my home.
¿Y tu futuro?
No, never. You'll never see me doing that. But, pero mi futuro queda en fútbol. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to tie it into.
I think one thing that we like, Coca and I, we both agree on, even David, it's like, for me, soccer is bigger than a team.
Absolutely.
The sport, the level of sport, is bigger than, like say rivalries, because whenever you get to to enjoy the sport, you get to not be sour when the other one wins or loses. You don't get to as much as I like say I'm a Barcelona fan. Like when I saw Ronaldo hit up those, Champions League, it's like, God damn, that dude is,
Yeah.
And then Real Madrid, what they did last season.
Incredible.
Yeah. And Barcelona, hopefully, we get it, today we struggled, pero sacamos un empate. Ya vamos por ahí.
Yeah.
But
we're hoping for
we're hoping for miracles. but like say, for me, I got to learn to just enjoy the game and enjoy the experience everyone has. I have my teams. I already know my teams, who they are and what they are. But I hate being the type that nah, your team is trash, bro. I'm like,
See,
maybe in la cancha once the game is going on.
That's
like,
different. Yeah.
Ahí sí vamos a darnos.
Yeah.
But outside
during
of that,
the 90, banter.
banter,
Go ahead. But like
Nef
outside,
la pelas y todo eso, pero outside,
See,
una chévere.
That's where I differ from like a lot of my friends.
Yeah.
Right. Because as much as I see it as like, I'll say it like my religion, right? And it truly makes it's that sense when
Aquí hay bombas y trancazos.
yeah, but I won't, like, for example, the biggest example I can give you is the Champions League final of this last season. I was on the group chat with the guys, and they're like, "Oh, let's Madrid this, Madrid that, and Liverpool's gonna kick Madrid's ass and whatnot." And I'm the type of guy to be like, "Okay, that's fine, talk your shit, believe it. You hate Madrid or whatnot, that's fine." But at one point, what I did, and because I do this with every single Champions League final or important final that Madrid plays or Santos, I ghost. I do not want to talk about it. I will talk afterwards if I have to, but even then I try not to talk smack, because to me that's karma. And that's something that I truly believe in. I'm not going to come and tell you Liverpool's a piece of shit team, dude. We're going to destroy them. No,
and you know what? I have the same type of feeling about talking shit, because and it reminded me a little bit of even amongst selecciones, especially against with U.S. and Mexican fans.
Or Mexico y Sudamérica, Centroamérica, dude. That was
like Honduras, with all of that.
And I would see that Twitter is a very it can be a toxic place,
extremely toxic place.
You see some fucked up shit. You see a lot of shit talking, and I saw at the time a lot of Mexico fans making fun of a U.S. result. Me knowing that Mexico has a couple of games after that are not that easy, and they didn't look that great. So it's I don't know, man. I feel like anytime you talk your shit, especially down on a team that you're not even playing against, you're setting yourself up to be the target the next time.
And don't get me wrong. For me, it's not like I believe that because I talk shit. The team is gonna go bad, right? I'm one of a billion, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that, but consciously, I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have said that shit, type of thing.
I grew up with say for example, I grew up in the Messi, Ronaldo era. And at first I started getting I will hear myself and I think man, I sounded pretty stupid at times. Just, say defending a guy. Yeah, he's, for me, he's the best player in the world. But it's como que, wait, ¿para qué me voy a pelear con la gente? O sea, at the end of this kind of I enjoy it and I like watching them play. But I've learned maybe I need to criticize my players more so we can win more.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a little more harsh towards my teams now than any other teams.
For me, I mean, specifically with the Ronaldo-Messi debate, for me it's been more you know what? I like the players. Mm-hmm. I hate the fans, dude.
Sometimes I hate the fans.
Yeah, because it's that's what makes the toxicity in this whole debate. I'm a really big Ronaldo fan. I would tell you, he's one of the football icons that I would tell you. I looked at his career and everything, and I'll watch his interviews, and I'll tell you, I like what he says. I'll use that. I'll try to use that in my personal life. Mm-hmm. I don't feel that like that with Messi, right? But when you open whatever thing on Twitter, right? Let's say the ESPN or whatever page posts a stat about Ronaldo. Oh, Penaldo. Oh, he's finished or whatever.
That's...
Dude, do you not realize who you're talking about?
It's dude, this guy, with or without penalties, he scores a shit ton of goals. How can you not give him props?
And at the end of the day, what you really want to do is enjoy the sport. The art that because these guys are artists. Mm-hmm. With their whatever you want to see it, these guys are artists. Austin FC players are artists. Driussi's an artist. Diego's an artist. Anybody that can play football at the level that they are is capable of being that artist with their feet. Mm-hmm. It's just producing those beautiful moments, and I think that should be a lot more appreciated than more than that guy sucks and that guy's better than that. It should be a lot more than that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it can be just cast aside to immaturity. Tan chavalos, they're saying some pendejadas, they're saying some fucked up shit.
It's just, like I said, it's meme culture for me. It's all of that.
But when you see kind of older people do it,
that's cringe.
That's when it's
siéntese tía.
All right,
right.
You definitely have some bitterness or something in your life that's not right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
football has transitioned into essentially a real business now, and
Yeah.
that's what runs economies in some countries, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
you can't unfortunately be that loyal anymore. I mean, look at Figo, right? That's the
Ese
that's a
pinche
perfect.
Figo.
Have
No,
you
el
have
que
you watched the
más.
documentary?
Yeah.
So
El-
you'll see, like, it's exactly as like,
yeah.
yeah, well,
El-
it happens. Like, that's business.
Like whenever Neymar left, I actually
I was hurting for you because I love Neymar.
I was at the I was
yeah.
actually at the stadium
For sure.
whenever like he was subbed out,
Oh,
and like there's two things that happened. One was just the stadium just went silent when they saw his number popped out like in the red number, and I was like, oh, and now for me it's kind of like, yeah, this is his
That's it.
last day. But then you see him go to the bench, and there's a silence of a good 30 seconds from him walking from where he was at to the bench. And usually like Messi and Suarez, they will shake hands with him or
Yeah.
whatever.
they're
But in this
besties.
one, they knew something was gonna happen,
Yeah.
and they're just like
They were just
it was like
accepting it, yeah.
like a sad like I'm gonna miss you type of thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, like a couple days later, PSG, like pinche Neymar. That one was
Yeah.
like a hurtful one.
It was. I mean, I can tell you, like, the Ronaldo leaving Real Madrid.
How was that for you?
Man, that I was an emotional wreck because of how it happened. Really,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
That's tough.
you can go into it like a lot of like why he left. He left for money with this and that. He didn't leave for money.
Es pedos con Florentino.
Yeah, there was a lot of it going into it. For me, I hate it that he announced that thing after winning a Champions League, like in the celebrations. I hated that he did that, but I understand why he did it. I understand why he did it. But even after he said that, it was like a couple of days where like the whole media, everybody was like, "Oh no, he might stay. He had a talk with Florentino, this and that." And I remember watching the celebration that they do at the Bernabeu after winning a Champions League or La Liga at the end of the season celebration, where he talks to the fans, and I'm like, if he doesn't say this certain thing, I know he's gone. And he didn't say
No,
it.
you say.
He didn't say it. And I think that's been the one time that I've actually been like hurt over a player leaving. Because to me, Ronaldo and Madrid were meant to be together. It's like Brady and the Patriots, right? It's like that seamlessness connection where it's like two great things meant to be together. Now, I was never one of those where, oh no, where Ronaldo goes, I'm going to support that club. No. No. I never supported Juventus, but I want Ronaldo to do good.
Yeah.
I bought his first jersey because I wanted, of course he doesn't know who I am or anything, right? But I mean, as a fan, like I want to be like, I support Ronaldo, right? Even now, I watch the games to watch him play with Manchester United and whatnot. But that's me. Like, I know you're not supposed to have ídolos per se, right?
Yeah.
But if there was gonna be one, for me, that's him, right? Because
Ronaldo.
his career, I just love the way he plays, his mentality and whatnot. But
Yeah.
Did you have a player, Coque, that when he left, te corrió pues una de acá de los bookies, te cortaste las venas?
No, well, like, I grew up in a similar era of the La Liga where Ronaldinho was tearing it up.
oh man,
Ronaldinho was tearing it
Otra.
up, and just the joy that he played with, and the style that he played with, and the flair, and just the way that he was a true artist, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much about cuántos goles va a anotar. It's just like, what is he gonna do next, right? That's what you're expecting. So yeah, seeing his career trajectory and how when he left Barcelona and how he started kind of going to AC Milan, and then he kind of started to
a down spiral.
because you saw that his lifestyle. He was a player that was meant to be like a flash, boom, entrada por salida, and to make his art, but live his life on his own terms. Like, am I gonna go to practice or am I gonna go party?
Yeah,
And
that's how it always was.
And that's what happens. In the opposite side, you have a player like Ronaldo, que se ha cuidado
A tope.
a tope. he's got that mentality of win, 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 win. And
he's 38.
And he's past his mid-30s, so you're thinking like, what? I always think if Ronaldinho had the mentality and the discipline of Ronaldo, what would have happened? You know, it's crazy. But I mean, those are what ifs that
you would never know, right?
They don't really serve a purpose.
No,
but it makes you think of like, damn, what could have been, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy because like a lot of people talk about like yourself, like you have that essence that Ronaldinho was in Barcelona forever. Ronaldinho was in Barcelona for 2 seasons.
Yeah,
that's insane to me because of all those magical moments.
Yeah, he did it in a very short time.
It was almost every single game. He gave you that magical moment.
It was like he came in right after a year after the 2002 World Cup. Y es cuando yo con Rafa Márquez. But then like say
the Frank Rijkaard.
And that one it felt like there was a change. Y le dieron toda a Rijkaard like, hey, aquí cambias todo y va a ser tu equipo. And the team, it took him a while to mold in. Like say the first season they ended 4th place in the Liga. But then the next 2 seasons, 2004, 2005, and 2005, 2006, they won the Liga back-to-back with Ronaldinho winning the Champions League. But that 2005, 2006 was just like the magical because en el Clásico 3-0 con 3 de Ronaldinho, cuando te aplaude el Bernabéu, siendo el Bernabéu.
Es especial.
It was like, God damn. And then you remember like the like a Clásico, it was like Galácticos contra Ronaldinho y sus compas, basically. But then after that, like 2007, you knew something was off, and then about 2008, it's like, God damn. So Messi picks up.
Which was honestly probably the best thing that could happen to Messi. Because I don't think Messi would have had that development that he had, at least as fast.
Dude,
without Ronaldinho.
Sure. Ronaldinho was the best thing that could happen to Messi, like his trajectory.
Yes.
And the worst thing that could happen to Giovanni Dos Santos, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because of the way Giovanni idolized this guy, like almost trying to emulate his style of play.
It was he could have he was gearing towards another version. De repente, he followed the wrong steps.
Yeah, I mean, just look at like career. If you want to go like using another example, look at Carlos Vela. Right, he didn't have that Ronaldinho example.
Yeah,
but he's a solid player, and it's another one of those what ifs. Like, damn, what if Vela actually would have taken like this
soccer serious?
Would have taken it really, really serious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Vela probably has like the one thing that a lot of Mexican players have is like the comfort of money and security.
Well, I think for him it's a job.
It's
something that he does
that's what he said,
to make his living, but it's not where his heart's at, you know? Like, he makes a good living, so he's going to continue to do it and be a badass at it, but...
And he enjoys it.
He loves it when he's on the field. I think like the outside, the media and all that, I think that's what derails him because...
he hates all that political shit, especially with El Tri.
You know who is very similar to him in a way that enjoys the game? And you can, I mean, in the field, lo hace bien y juega bien. Driussi seems like a Vela. I feel like Driussi has the same thing. Like, don't put him in a commercial. Don't put him in this. Like, even like yesterday, when he came out, he was like
his words inspire me so much.
Like, I mean, he's just his personality.
That's
like,
him.
Or you talking about yesterday at the
party.
At the party.
To
you, he was only there for like 10 seconds. But I mean, for everybody, like for us, 10 seconds is like magical.
Yeah.
And for him, was like, even though like for him, he appreciates it, but he's like, his mind is like
I want to go.
I want to go, but I want to show it in the field.
Yeah.
That's like his love language, which I understand, Driussi. I love mentality. You too.
That's just elite mentality as well. Like, there's no one way of being elite, right?
Right.
There's multiple ways, and that's, to me, I've said it to my friends. And it sounds exaggerated because it is, but it is. And if you like dig a little deeper into it, Driussi is gonna have an impact in Austin FC history, very similar, at least in our lifetime probably, that Ronaldo had at Real Madrid, because it's that culture that he's building within him as a player, that mentality that he's doing. Yeah, he's not, like you said, he's not a big media, like, oh, I want to go to the interviews and this and that. No. But he talks on the field.
Yeah.
And he will, dude, like...
Es más como de compas.
Sí, es más Look, I was thinking about this earlier. Like last season, our top goal scorer was Cecilio with 7.
Mhm.
Driussi has 22 this season. That's more than twice, 3 times.
It could have been 23.
Could have been
22.
Fuck that ref, dude.
Pero pinche.
Pinche árbitro
That was.
vendido.
Which we're going to talk about like shortly.
Yeah.
But man, another thing that I want to talk about is just like the result for this Clásico. Aquí vienen los trancazos. Aquí te comprometes y aquí te echo coques si quieres pelear.
Vamos.
Because I can't fight.
Tenemos para los dos.
Now, Richie told me that Nef, he's like, the thing I know about Nef, he's a teddy bear. I'm like, well, you're a teddy bear too, man.
I'm like the teddy bear, you know.
I'm like that one. Yeah.
Grosero, borracho.
Ya le entramos a los chingadas.
All right, so we got Clásico. We got
Yeah.
predictions. What do we got?
Tu primero.
I will go ahead and say I think it's going to be a 2-1 win for Madrid. Because cerradito, but not because I think Barcelona's really like on there. It's more than anything because Madrid is never going to do what Barcelona does to Madrid in a good day. Because Madrid doesn't look for that. Like, nosotros no vamos al campo a matar. Vamos a ganar.
Mm-hmm.
Sea 1-0, a último minuto, lo que sea. Vamos a ganar. That's what the Madrid essence is. You want to play beautiful and do this, and then that's a different story, right?
Yeah.
That's more the Barcelona sense.
Yeah.
And that's
Pinche
why,
pero seguro.
Sí. And that's why cuando al Barcelona le sale perfecto, le sale bien y se ve bonito.
Yeah.
Pero tienes esa mentalidad también a veces como el de hoy.
Cabizbajo si no sale. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and you see it in Austin too. It's happened here too because it's a lot of the very similar type of tactical play.
Mm-hmm.
Pero sí, yo digo que va a ser un juego muy cerrado también porque las ganas que se tienen los dos equipos.
Mm-hmm.
Yo digo sí, 2-1.
2-1.
2-1.
Okay.
Yeah, I think after today's Champions League result of Barça, you know,
Never go by previous results when going to a Clásico.
Squeaking by. No, I'm not going to say that because of this because of this previous result they're going to win or lose, but I'm saying that they tied what was it 3-3?
Yeah, 3-3.
So I think that's it's like super draining for a team, especially midweek,
Mm-hmm.
and then having to go into a Clásico. That being said, I think I want to say Barcelona's going to win, and it's going to be a high scoring game.
You think another like
4-3,
another 4-0 type thing, or
no, but not a shutout like it was. Like I think it's going to be like a 4-3,
4-3. Okay, honestly, I
Último
would
minuto.
want to see that.
And I think we would all love to see that.
Yeah.
We would all love to see that. But of course, I would love to see Barca on top.
Say Barca 3-2.
3-2.
Yeah, at least 5 goals, at least. Because you know what? If there's one thing, okay, back in the days, we didn't have Lewandowski, but he's actually scoring. Se echó 2 goles hoy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, we have something. We have some ammo.
Yeah.
So number 9, finally.
We have a number 9.
The reason why I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game is because we don't have Benzema at the top level right now. Benzema's not at the top of his game.
Pero eso, güey, es cuando se prende.
Oh, sí.
Te la deja Cayetana.
Of course, but you have Madrid that's a lot more solid in the back now.
Which is
Which
good.
You have Alaba, Militao, and Rudiger. Those are, I want to say in the top 10 of,
right. No,
of
that's
elite football. I think that's they're probably in the top 5.
That's a solid line. And right now, Barca has a Bajas back.
Especially in the defense.
Tenemos a Piqué.
Fuck out of here, bro.
No,
he's on my bad
Garcia.
side ever since the Shakira.
I know, dude.
Scandals,
I'm pissed off at Piqué. I'm like,
Yeah.
Sácalo.
Nah, but
Que se vaya.
¿Verdad?
That
Se
aside,
queda.
that aside, man, on the football. I saw a picture today of Rudiger's eye. It's pretty swollen. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Le pegaron.
Hopefully, I'd like to see both squads at full strength.
Yeah.
Because then if
That's
something happens, it's like, well, we didn't have this player.
That's how I am too. Like if I'm gonna beat, like if I'm gonna play against the best, I want to play him. If I want to win against the best, I want to beat the best. But I also want to lose against their best. I don't want to be like, with 2 players down and pero es que se
Sí, que no
cayó
hay
este
excusas.
vato.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
que Me ganaste por ser mejor.
No. I don't like. I'm right there with you. I don't like that because it just sets a precedent. Like every time, va a haber una excusa.
Sí.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
So, gané, y ya.
And it makes me think of me as a younger fan, as a younger Barca fan, especially in Clásicos. You know, when Barca would win, I was like, this is why this is a better squad. This is our style, the way we dominate possession and el tiki-taka and this and that. And then when Real Madrid would win, I would make excuses like, nomás juegan el contragolpe.
That's how you used to be. And I'm like, wait.
But now I especially, you know, just watching soccer, kind of detaching from the fanatic side and seeing it for the art side. Yeah. It's a different type of art, man. That's all it is. It's just different types
Every
of team is a different idea, a different scheme. So maybe it doesn't appeal to you, but you have to try to understand it.
Yeah, and I think when I understood it the most is when Madrid won this past Champions League. And I was like, esos tienen la onza de un Juan Manuel Márquez contra Pacquiao. You might be losing, pero they're not giving a little opening porque ahí te va el madrazo.
Sí, yeah, I mean, and you guys said it. La Champions del año pasado, just amongst all the magical moments, there was this essence that we weren't ready to say we were gonna lose any game. I mean, we might have lost the game, but we went through, right? So I can tell you that the second leg against City, we needed 2 goals, right? And then those last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
My friend Jordi, I was watching the game with him at Half Squad. It was already before Rodrigo scored that first one. He was like, nah, man, fuck this, dude. We can't believe they lost like that. He was getting ready to go buy some food. He was ready to leave. And I told him, nah, dude. I was upset. I was quiet. I was in that zone. I was like, nah, dude. Wait.
You're like in Benzema we trust.
Yeah. I was like, it's coming. I was like, just give it. Just wait until the whistle blows. We waited literally like 30, 40 seconds after I said that. Rodrigo scores the first one. And I'm not Nostradamus or nothing like that, right?
But it's easier.
But for me,
he's not Nostradamus. He's Neftradamus.
Yeah. But I get those feelings. Yeah. Like I don't know if it's something that I don't think it's anything unique to me, right? Yeah. But I get those feelings that I know my team, right? Or maybe that's more of like why I want to be like a manager. Because I can kind of I can read the game in that sense. And Hernan will tell you, like the game against Chelsea, the game against PSG, I called every single sub and what minute Carlo was going to do them. Just watching him all season, getting all those things. But you might say, oh, that's just easy to tell. It's not so easy. You can't always just say that they're going to do the same things that they do. With Wolf, it's a different story. He tends to do the same things all the time.
He already has it timed.
He has it timed. But that kind of has worked in MLS, right? Because it's a different type of league. So it might be something that, it's just a tribute to the league and how the league is played. But for those games, like I could tell you, I was like, yeah, he's going to do this change. And this is how the change would be, the tactical change would be. He would play this, and that. I was able to read all of that, and that's part of why during those games I was very calm. I was never in a zone where I was like, fuck, we're going to lose. That's it. That's over. I was even against PSG, which was the very first one, in which, they have Messi, Mbappe, Neymar. For the first time in a long time, Neymar was available for a game in February.
Right.
And having all three of them. All three of them scored 2 goals against a poor Madrid side.
Decimated.
Just think about it. Like, that's insane to think about. This was the time that PSG would have made that statement and saying, we're going to be the better club.
They missed their chance.
They missed their chance.
For sure.
Yeah. And then they kept Mbappe, and look at him now, right?
On the subject of PSG, the trident that they have, and with Mbappe, the whole kind of controversy debate, where he was rumored to be linked to Real Madrid. It sounded like it was a pretty done deal, and then it fell through. Somehow PSG convinced him to stay, and they kind of promised him the world. Now he's very unhappy, and he's looking for a way out as soon as possible. Talk to me about your feelings and your thoughts on Mbappe.
Man, I'll tell you this right now. Me, like a lot of Madrid fans that I've seen, we are happy to see the bullet we dodged.
Yeah.
Now, people that listen to the Top Flight podcast at the time that Mbappe decided to reject Madrid the way that he did, I sent Hernan like a little letter for him to read out there, and it was very heartfelt because I was already hurt, because this guy played with the future of Real Madrid essentially. He played with 2 years, a little more over 2 years worth of transfers and development of the club for him. And if you do that, you can say, yeah, he's the best player in the world right now. You can say he has amazing goal scoring capabilities. But someone that feels Madrid the way I do will tell you, there's no way I want this guy in my club even coming in on a free. No way. I don't want this guy to even step on the Bernabeu. Mm-hmm. The day that he comes to the Bernabeu, he's getting booed. And he should be, because as a person, let alone as a football player, as a person, you can't do that. That's just disrespect to the next level. Am I glad it's happening to him? As a person, no, because you don't want to be lied to. Mm-hmm. But he did that to my club. He lied, and he played with the club the way he did.
Yeah, we were talking about karma earlier. You lie in your transactions, you're gonna have some club lie to you. You're only building up your reputation.
That's just how things work. It's not that I never said that I wouldn't want Mbappe even from the beginning. No, of course I want Mbappe, because the guy showed that he wanted Madrid. Mm-hmm. He played around with the feelings of Real Madrid fans for years. Saying, oh, look at my room, look at all these pictures of Ronaldo and this and that, right? But I always said that Mbappe is amazing. I've always wanted more of a natural goal scorer like Haaland. Now, why do I say that? Because you get a crack at this. The one transfer that I wished would have happened for Madrid and before the 2014 World Cup was Luis Suarez. Because I craved to see in Madrid another big-time scorer, like
the number 9.
Another number 9, like not a Ronaldo, because Ronaldo is phenomenal.
It's something different.
Yeah, way different. But I was wanting to see a player that moved in the area like Luis Suarez did at the moment. And I remember that before that all of that happened, there was transfer rumors of Luis Suarez flirting with Madrid. And I was like, okay, se va a hacer. Aquí viene, this is the new Raúl.
Yeah, I heard
I was like, okay, we got it. He went to Barcelona. I was like, God damn it.
It was one of those that I think the everything happened in the World Cup, and then he needed a safe haven, and for him,
Barcelona was
a safe haven.
But I will tell you that. I will tell you this. I hate him now. I hate Suarez. But not because of him necessarily playing for Barcelona, because I can get past that. Figo played for Barcelona and Madrid. I'm very neutral about him. But what I saw, and maybe he did it before that, and I just didn't really see it. But the way he plays, so dirty, dude.
He's a dirty player.
But dirty to the next level. I've seen Jordi Alba, for example. I don't know what you guys think of him. I personally cannot digest him.
Yeah.
Sergio Busquets with all that. That's all the shithousery.
Yeah.
That a player in Madrid would not be able to do it to the scale that they do. And shit, Vinicius is getting away with some of that now. And I hate that he's doing that because that's not what you're used to seeing. No, it's not that. It's not that what I want him to be. Of course, he's Brazilian. He can do whatever. Yeah. You know, he don't dance or But the profile of your average Madrid player is a more concrete, simple. It's más simple. Everything about Madrid is more of like a classic, simple, straight to the point thing. Now, I'm not gonna be one of those saying, "Oh, Vini, don't celebrate dancing." Of course not. No, báilale. Es fútbol, es arte, es lo que te hace sentir, es tu pasión, right? Pues ya de ahí, si te tocan tirarte y estarte ahí 10 minutos llorando por algo que no pasó. So those type of things is what makes detracts people from the sport, and it just makes it boring. I love watching Austin last season, but I hated watching them lose.
The losing was the worst. Actually, them playing in the stadium, when you look at it, you can see structure. I mean, like you can see some type of. You can see that system, something. That base. You can see something like, okay, they're working on this idea. It's not flourishing because it's different when you're training than when you're actually in the game.
That consistency.
But I mean, now you can see it. It might, like, say, for example, right now, it might look like, oh, they look like shit. But it's just one of those things that whenever the system kicks in and it kicks in good, I mean, they can do damage. Like you said earlier. Con el Barcelona, si el Barcelona juega bien y gana, todos felices.
What Wolf said it last season when he was introducing himself to the media and to the fans, that his model of play is very similar to that of a tiki-taka. When I heard that, obviously, I was like, God damn.
Ya valimos madre.
Ya valió madre.
El Nef is like,
I was like, fuck, dude, I'm going to support this shit.
Nah, but you're over here, like, as soon as he send that, like, send him links of, like, las más sufridas del Real Madrid.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm happy that he went that way because I'm also a lover of the sport. Yeah. I love watching beautiful football. Yeah. Who doesn't love watching beautiful football? Watching, like, a lot, pretty much every single goal that's scored here at Q2 or that Austin himself scores, the build-up play to most of those, dude, it's fucking beautiful.
It's been incredible. There's been a lot of goals where I've seen him be like, this is the definition of wolf ball.
Yeah.
And then you used to look at the next game, this is the definition of wolf ball.
But like, say we score, and then, or it has happened where, you know, we don't score, but after we don't score, the transition goes to where we get scored.
Yeah.
Which is like the sad moment. It's kind of like, oh.
It is. Wait. But imagine just what if, right?
Yeah.
This team with this coach gets that system down 100% the way that Wolf wants it.
They're going to be
that team could win Champions League. The
CONCACAF.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, with that style of play, maybe. They could get. I mean, I'm not saying they could.
Well, even like say like LAFC when they were like 2019, their style of play was like straightforward. Ataca. Por eso le metían goles porque atacaban.
Pero metía.
And
like now, like this season with Austin FC, you have a hybrid of a system, right?
Yeah.
You do have that system where you try to play beautiful, and that's kind of why they concede more than they should. But they have that mentality of like, si me metes dos, te meto tres.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's a risky one.
It's a risky one,
metes,
but it has worked. But you also have games like the Nashville game here at home. They had chance after chance.
Y no se mete.
No llegaron.
Oh, in Portland también.
Or Seattle.
Like, you know, the most recent one contra Colorado.
Yeah, even that. Like
those goles que anularon. It was like so close. I mean, it's a hard because the angles, and I feel like this is where MLS should improve on Apple TV. If there's one thing Apple TV needs to do when they come in, it's improve that shit.
Problema que la tecnología no está siendo usada como debe ser.
Sí.
O sea, ahí es cuando tú dices, por ejemplo, el robo que le hicieron al Barcelona la semana pasada fue mano clara. Uh-huh. No hay manera que eso en un bar no debe ser penal. Uh-huh. Sin embargo, no fue penal.
Sí, che madre.
¿Ves? Yeah, o sea, cosas así. O sea, pero nunca importa hasta que le pasa a tu equipo. Esa es la cosa.
Pero, ¿sabes qué? sí, para mí algo que yo quiero, me gustaría, yo como aficionado y como vivo el fútbol, porque yo he crecido con equipos que o los quieres o los amas. I want Austin FC to be that same type of team. You either love them or hate them, but I don't want them to be like mid-table, you know. I want them to like, you know, I want to be like ser odiados porque ganamos.
Ódiame más.
Yo quiero ser.
I don't think Austin FC has a shortage of haters on the webs, at least.
I mean, but if you look at it, like say, like, I mean, fan base, like say for example, fan base, we have that already.
Fan base, yeah.
And so I want that to reflect on the field, like in the fans, it's there, but I want it to be in the field because like I feel like, especially in Texas, like maybe not nationwide, but especially in Texas because like Houston won 2 in a row, but after that, nada. Dallas has never won, so they haven't really been as relevant as not until Austin FC came in and they started like giving punches.
And that will come with time. That will come with time, but I like the essence of the club, at least right now, I don't see the club going hard after that strategy because this season we saw them going from that mentality of keep doubting us, right?
Yeah.
And then they're in second place most of the season and this and that. And they start believing it. And we saw what happened when they really start to believe it, right? So this is a club that's going to be, at least in its first 10, 15 years, it should have that structure of being, como Santos, precisamente como Santos. We're not the biggest. We might not be the best.
Pero damos batalla.
Pero te vamos a dar chingadazos. Y ahí, gánanos. Ven a mi casa, gáname.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great structure to start with. Because if you want to talk about Austin FC having haters, just go to Columbus. Just go to Ohio. Sure. Our owner himself brings a lot of that, half of that. You know, the league hates, at least last season I saw a lot of hate towards Austin FC just because of the owner.
Yeah, I guess the pre-court.
You know what I mean? So that will come with time, especially once we have better established rivalries. Because like it's not Houston and Dallas, or more specifically Houston. It's not that I don't see them as rivals, but if you want to see yourself as a team that's really growing, you can't really have a rival in the lower side of the table.
Yeah.
As much as they have, right? I consider a rival LAFC. Now, I don't consider them a rival in the way that the clubs are built, because obviously LAFC is built to be a star team.
Yeah.
But Austin, but in terms of football, you know, in terms of results, that's where I see that's a rivalry. That's going to be, where you could be like, that's what, ahí se van a dar los chingadazos de verdad. You know, and there is like a lot of things for that rivalry to happen. You know, you have a lot of California people coming in here and this and that. You have little connections.
It's got the makings of a rivalry.
It does, and I think now Dallas is a different story. But I think Dallas right now, that rivalry is that way because we haven't beat them.
Yeah.
The day we beat them and we get like a little run against them, I think it's gonna die down again. Because mostly because their fan bases are not as involved.
Not the same,
it's not. But LAFC's fan bases were very involved.
Imagine a game where you have the 32-52 on one side and all of their, you know, ultras, the District 9, and then Los Verdes, La Murga, and Anthem in SoFi Stadium.
Like just imagine that, but con the 5 people in El Batallón. Right.
Nah, you're not gonna get. Yeah,
you're not. No,
it's
not the same.
Yeah. No, I mean even in their stadium, like
that's what I'm saying. Like you're not gonna have. If I guarantee you, if Austin would play Dallas or Houston in a neutral stadium, there will still be a lot more.
In like say it will be. I mean, you take the game to the Alamo Dome, it's gonna be controlled by Austin for sure.
Yeah.
Pero I think Austin es como el por decir, aquí está el guapo, que es el AFC, que tiene dinero, y de repente entonces acá llegas y no, necesitas un vato que le dé la madre porque ya se le ha puesto. Y traes el primo que sabe pelear, aunque esté feo, pero le entra. I feel like Austin is like that.
Yeah.
No, cámara.
No, I think I personally see Austin va a ser como el equipo de todos. Va a ser el equipo de todos. Porque va a ser como todos contra el AFC.
Yeah.
You know, o sea, ahorita casi como es contra Galaxy, right? LAFC fans and Austin FC fans can both come together to one thing. Fuck Carson.
Yeah,
You know
that
what I
is
mean?
for sure.
Pero
That is the.
if Carson keeps going, building the club the way that they are, Carson's going to disappear out of the media radar. You know, and it's going to become Austin FC, hopefully. That takes
You can't rely on
talk to
one
me a little bit
player.
about that. Like, why do you say the way that Carson's building their club?
Because
Sorry, I'm a little
because of the way that they've been bringing in players, star players,
Right.
they don't work out.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I mean?
The only one
Like,
was
you can-
Zlatan. But
Yeah.
After that,
Le puedes echar chingo
Yeah.
de billete a un equipo.
Mm-hmm.
Si no te funciona, si no te da resultados. Zlatan era para que le hubiera dado una MLS Cup.
yeah.
Yeah.
No pasó.
Yeah.
Y no pasó, si no me equivoco, porque los eliminó el AFC
Yeah.
de esa semifinal o algo así. So,
I get what you're saying now.
yeah, because, and, you know, not to bring up the example, but it's like Barcelona this season, right? Chingo de lana que se entró y hasta ahorita, ¿no?
A duras penas.
A duras penas.
A pan y agua nos traen.
Yeah. Ahora, pues, trajeron a Chicharito, pero pues a Ricky Puig. Son jugadores que hasta ahorita, han sido puro nombre. ¿Me entiendes? Y eso es algo que Austin FC no va a hacer. Austin FC no te va a traer a un jugador sin que tenga méritos para que entre en el equipo. Yo te aseguro que a Rigoni no lo trajeron porque Rigoni ha jugado en Europa, que no. Josh, Claudio se sentaron y han visto a Rigoni jugar todo eso y dijeron, a esto que hace él va a encajar perfecto. Si no es por eso, te aseguro que no lo traen.
No, and you can tell a little bit with the productivity of so many different players in their team. You know, you have obviously Driussi performing at a phenomenal rate. You got Fagundes performing at a great rate. You got Maxi in his time doing his thing. Danny Hoos is stepping up. So many different pieces have stepped up
Absolutely
in different times, and I think that's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
They're creating more of a
team,
of an ecosystem, of a team that feeds each other.
Yeah.
That doesn't rely on like this one star that we just threw a bunch of money at.
Maybe Driussi is the one that, you know, no.
Driussi is your perfect combine of that
But
because
he's a team player.
Yeah, but he's the type of player that makes you play better.
Yeah.
You can always tell by the way everyone in the field plays with him. Yeah. Even the worst player in the team, you know, entra animado whenever Driussi's there.
Driussi ha sido like 1 in a billion for us really because even last season his second game ya fue titular.
Yeah.
Pero fue titular porque él quiso y porque luego entendió el sistema. And you could tell the difference. I remember doing the fan interviews with Austin TV outside and being like, dude, this guy's on a different speed. Like you can tell like del pase, la calidad del control del balón, todo, o sea, and you can now see it in more players. Now you see a lot better version of Diego. You see a lot better version of Danny Pereira. You know, little things like that he passes on and encourages his
players. Pacing, that's the one thing that I noticed.
Oh, yeah.
Like the way like he would like when there was times que estaban descontrolados, like say before he was here, you can always, you know, you can sense discomfort in the team. But when he was in the game, it was like estaban calmados. They're like, okay, cool. And then he'll just be like this, like he'll walk it, pásamela, I'll give it back to you, and you know, you're gonna see me go this way. And he would do like las triangulaciones que son las más sencillas. Era porque él animaba a que sus jugadores se movieran. And now, I mean, you see Romaña's, you know, play like with the ball is improved. Cascante, the reason why he improved is because of Driussi's. I mean, Brink is a little more higher because next to Driussi, I wish Brink was a little lower.
Les da la confianza. O sea,
yeah. Y el pedo es que one thing that he has is if another player messes it up, he does not get mad.
No.
Like, he asks for it, I'm like, and he keeps going. And he's like, vamos.
Yeah.
Like, he does not get mad. Like, say, he's only been mad at him. I feel like he's only been frustrated at himself whenever he can't score or whenever he can't help
or when
the team.
he knows he's having a bad game.
Or whenever
he
he's
knows
having a bad
in
day.
it. Yeah.
But he does not, like, you don't never see him getting mad at his teammates.
No. Well, at least no lo enseña. And
Yeah.
that's something that, speaks volumes to him because he himself, as a star player, I don't think Austin could have had anybody better. I mean, me and my friends, like, we've done, like, little scouts reports, right? And we're like, okay, this player would have been good. Oh, este otro. Oh, este tiene cualidades similares. But when you really look at it, at the scouting that they did with him, getting to know him as a person, and how he fit into this club, I don't think they could have had any better.
No, for sure.
That's why I would say that he would have that impact that, like, a Cristiano had at Madrid, because I feel like it was like the perfect partnership.
Best case scenario for sure. Driussi has been the best case scenario for Austin FC. I think we can all agree on that. And hopefully this like you say, it's the birth of something that is an era, like a Driussi era.
Yeah.
In Austin FC, we would love to see that.
In MLS, honestly, the way that it's going.
In MLS. Okay. So now that we're kind of zooming out, how would you rate this season? What grade would you give Austin FC for this season?
That's a hard question because, for the past 2 days, I've been thinking about it, honestly, because you got to put every little thing into perspective when looking at the season, right? So you got to put into perspective the last season we were 12th, right? And now we're second. We climbed up 10
positions.
10 positions. Yeah. Last season, I remember at the end of that Kansas City game, me and my friends were on the phone and we're like, dude, we're making playoffs. We might end up in like the seventh position, but we're on the final day. But we're gonna get to playoffs, right? Dude, never, not even after the first 5 games, would I be able to tell you we're gonna end up the season in second place. Now, a lot of things come down to Wolf and how he has managed himself and how he's actually grown. Because I was one of those people that in the first season said Wolf out, right? But I said Wolf out because of I didn't see him learning game by game. Now, he had the preseason, he had the first game, and throughout the season, you saw the development in him as a coach. Those people that say Wolf in, just because, give him time. He's a new coach. This is fair. That's fine. I come from watching Real Madrid and Santos, right? I do not have the patience to give a brand new team to a brand new coach. Now, it has worked. It's worked so far. It's done wonders. But if I was pre-court and I was building this team from scratch, there's no way.
You could have picked Josh.
One, I didn't know him. 2, and I don't know, it's maybe because MLS doesn't have that relegation thing. But there's too much to gamble, and at least in my head, to give this to this franchise, a brand new franchise, in a brand new market, to someone that has no experience
as a
head coach.
Right.
Because you can have your Zidanes, right, that win everything in the first 4 or 5 years, or you could have your Pirlos, right? Give them a team, make it yours. Don't do anything with it, right? Pirlo had Ronaldo. He didn't do anything with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So for me, that's what it was. For me, it was like, I don't think he's the guy. And I like, we, us Austin FC fans will have that in the back of our heads forever. That Dallas game.
That was, yeah.
Yeah. You see that and you're like, how is he allowed to coach?
Yeah.
How is he? That's disrespectful in many levels to whatever, right? But I looked at that and I'm like, how? Like, just please, Precourt, please send a statement and tell us why. But that's why I said Wolf out. I saw how the team was playing. I saw the balance. And I was like, if they gave him a second season, I'm not necessarily too mad about it, but I want to see him grow as a coach. I want to see his changes and the way that he develops the team actually grow. And I saw that, and I was happy with that. But I never would I have thought that they would end up in second place. So for me, I would give them an A, because I do think
He grew.
I think they could have done better.
Yeah.
I honestly think that they could have done better. I'm not saying I never was that fan that said, "Oh, we got to go 100% for the Shield," because that, thinking of last season. So I always wanted to play it safe, right? Like do everything you can to hold on to that second place. But yeah, they could have done better. They could have gotten that A+. There was games there that I feel like they threw away the game.
Yeah, I think like for me, as when I saw like say Wolf after Dallas, I'm like, man, if he doesn't learn how to play with Driussi,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like literally no point in return for him.
Yeah.
But Driussi coming in and starting the second game, there was a pivot to what Austin FC is now. Because now that you're losing, but at least you're losing playing well.
Exactly.
Now you're losing, with your head up.
And
You're losing like you fought. So
I don't want to say that Driussi saved Josh's job, because in other countries, maybe that would have been the case.
Mhm.
I don't think Josh's job was ever on the line. But I know for a fact that if Josh would have been in Mexico, he would have been sacked.
after
If he would have
5
been in
games,
Europe, he would have been
yeah.
sacked. You know what I mean?
And so one thing, like say, and I mean the MLS does have relegations, so you can actually organize more structure.
Yeah, you can.
So you don't
take
have
your
pressure
projects,
of So I think like it worked out for him, and second place, like you said, he gets an A. Where he can do better. I think transitions are the ones that he needs to just improve.
Yeah, I mean
Y meterlas cuando están ahí.
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be. I think that's more of like the development of a club, because obviously, as you like the third year, right? What can we look forward to? Now, forget about playoffs right now, right?
Yeah.
That's a third year Austin FC team. What are we expecting as fans, right? What can we look forward to? I think, and no disrespect to Maxi or Danny Hoos or anything, but you could have a killer number 9. There is better number 9.
You have to go.
Right?
Yeah.
You can upgrade. You can always
For sure.
upgrade.
Yeah.
Now, does Maxi and Musa and Danny do a good job? They do their job, of course, within the system.
Yeah.
Can you do better? Of course. Now, would I like Maxi to be better and to would I rather, instead of going out there and buy another player? Of course, absolutely. I love Maxi. I want him to have those season like Driussi's, for example, right? Have that proper number 9.
You want that Driussi from the beginning of the season.
Exactly.
Like to be more consistent, because I think like right now you can see even on him, like in the game.
I think it's a little bit of fatigue.
Pero está, I think more so mentally than physically.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because
mentally,
he's
he's like the last game he was just estaba cabizbajo. But I feel like el día que la meta va a estar.
I think this last stretch of like 5-7 games, I think the focus, I mean, of course they want to win, right? I think the focus became more of Driussi's MVP status, which I don't blame them, because like, those who have played club, right, who have actually like played in a team, you always have that, like, you have your goals, right, and you have your teammates. If you're playing with your best friend or this and that, and you want them to score, you're gonna do everything, or just the best player in your team, right? You want to give them the ball the whole time, right?
You want to feed them.
Yeah, you want to feed them, because you see that as the solution to your team winning the whole time.
Right.
Fair, it's valid, but that gets away from what Wolf really implements.
Yeah.
And that's where I think they got lost a little.
No, I agree. I think they got lost in the sauce a little bit, because I think there were some games that potentially Driussi could have sat out to just give himself a little bit more rest.
Yeah.
And get a little bit of rotation up top, but because of his pursuit for the MVP and the golden boot, they kept playing him over and over. And I can imagine him talking to Wolf and saying, like, I need to play. I want to play. And Wolf being like,
and I'm glad he has that mentality.
All right, dude.
But that's one place where Wolf should have been like the guy and been like, you know what?
Yeah. Let's
today
let's sit.
You'll sit down for a little bit. If depending on how the game goes,
so
do that thing.
Going into next season, one thing that I have is the players. There's something that we need to learn is we're gonna go into
Champions League,
maybe
possibly.
If so that means we're gonna
it's almost it's very likely, seeing that, we need, basically, if we don't win MLS Cup, it has to be someone above us. Someone above us wins it, we're in.
Yeah.
So, it's very likely.
And then, like, so we have that, and that means more travel. Like, say, more games like you had this season in the week, but they're going to be out of the country. Longer travel hours.
Oh, no. That's the thing.
That's another thing and I was like, how can you, because, this season, the first game that was not MLS, it was the US Open. Como que nos entramos un poquito norteados, but I feel like it'll be a good point to think of, okay, start preparing ourselves for, if we're going to continue to, aim higher, you're going to be competing in I don't know, higher levels, but for sure more intensity when it comes up to travel, when it comes up to like logistics and resting,
absolutely,
rotations. Now Driussi cannot play like every game as much as we want to.
Which even against San Antonio, I don't think he played like the whole game. I know Fagu played 120. Yeah, and then he came and played another 90 over here or something like
insane.
that.
I thought that was insane.
Yeah, no, Fagu's something else.
He's a machine. Yeah.
He is a machine, and he's a machine for this club. Which I love.
Hey, pero ¿sabes de quién lo sacó? De esta Alicia. Ayer está un bailón que está echando.
Oh, for real?
Dude, she can dance, man.
Shout out to Alicia.
Saludos,
tía.
Saludos.
Saludos a la tía.
But, I think as a club, what they have to prepare with the most is that squad depth. Because
for sure.
You have to.
They're, as much as I love Ruben and
defensively,
and Cascante, you can
for sure.
And that Leagues Cup that we're gonna have, where MLS is gonna stop for a whole month, is really gonna put into perspective, if they don't already have it, that if you're gonna play international cups, you're gonna have to have international type level players.
You can,
because I mean, of course they're friendlies, of course this and that, but you saw what Pachuca, Atlas, and Tigres have come here. Now, are those big teams in Mexico? Absolutely. Not every team in Mexico has that caliber, but the small teams in Mexico can compete against these guys. There shouldn't be no reason why we couldn't. Austin FC has the football to do it. Austin FC has the players to do it. But Julio and Gabrielson would get pretty exposed in terms of speed.
Do you think it's time? Because you're going to go into like la CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go to the other one. It's time to start thinking of Mexican players.
Oh, from the start. But not because American players. It's just because they're more, I don't want to say more talented, but they're just more football focused, right? The American player tends to be more physical. Yeah. And like I said, no disrespect to any player. I'm not a professional player myself for multiple more very reasons, right? But it's no rocket science to know, like, you tell me, you think Jared Stroud would be a starter in Mazatlan? No. Right? You think...
In Correcaminos.
Well, maybe in La Banca. And not to undersell him, but it's just... He's an athlete. He's fast. He has a great body, right? He's built to play, but it's just the football mental agility that is just different. Now, I'm not just saying about Mexican players. I mean, I would personally bring in a couple. I can tell you right now in the midfield, Marcel Ruiz is one player that I love, but I'm not married to the idea of a Mexican player. I don't care where they're from.
As long as
I
they
want
contribute.
I want quality players.
Yeah, quality.
Right?
I think that's
I think that's more that where they and I think that's where Claudio and the whole team is kind of like that. But if you want to bring someone, a Mexican player, make sure that, just like I said earlier, it fits.
Yeah,
it fits and it works.
It's kind of like
it's not just a name or somebody like that.
Like Gonzalo Pineda, when he came to Seattle,
right?
Low profile.
Yeah.
Y se quedó, ganó.
Sí.
Y ahorita, I mean, he's a coach at Atlanta. He's been there. I thought he was going to get sacked, but he's actually been there for, some time.
Because they're going to do
what they did
what
with both.
Austin did.
Yeah.
Well, look at what perfect example here would be Dallas and Houston.
Yeah.
They sacked their coaches last season.
Mm-hmm.
What did they do? They bring in that profile of coach that Wolf is under Bill Halter's belt, under that school, under that system, and that's what they want, and that's what MLS is gonna become.
Yeah.
But is that the best thing that can happen to the league? I personally don't think so, because if you're planning on that, you're planning on long-term projects, which means
monotonous, not much versatility.
Because you're not thinking of like adding relegation and promotion into it, which is sad because really it adds to the sport.
It makes more games matter.
Yes, exactly.
It gives more excitement. Like,
exactly.
You look at the English Premier League, the relegation, the last few games that they had, teams that are at the bottom, it was insane. It felt like they were playing una final. They were just playing for survival.
But
to have that
this.
in MLS.
Picture this. Imagine that last game against Colorado would have been the point that saved Colorado from relegation.
Yeah.
Just
going out there.
Just to put it into a little perspective, right? Because Austin FC went into that game thinking, oh, okay, well, I win or I draw, but maybe not. I'm not going to lose.
I don't have anything to lose.
I'm comfortable. I'm good where I'm at, right?
Now, your prediction for the playoff.
Yeah.
For the
let's
playoff.
get into it. Sunday, 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Prediction of a little rain, a little coolness. What's going to happen?
I think it's going to be
60%
good weather.
rain.
I love when it's weather like that.
Yeah.
And they bring the little plastic cover.
Yeah.
All right. So we're playing Real Salt Lake here at QT. Our record against Real Salt Lake is favorable. I'd say.
I think it's the best that we could have gotten.
Yeah, exactly. The best card we could have drawn. So how do you feel about this upcoming match?
It's hard not to be like extremely biased until we're good. I mean, of course, I believe we're gonna win. I don't. There's not a doubt in my head that we're gonna win. How we're gonna win, I think it's a different thing. I don't think we're gonna smack them.
Yeah.
I think it's not gonna be necessarily a close game in my head, but it is gonna be one of those games where it's gonna be stagnant until the first goal. Whichever side that comes from. I know Austin FC is prepared in terms of going down one because they've done it all season.
Yeah.
They go down, they come back. But I know that if Austin FC scores first and they don't get scored within the first 5 minutes of getting that goal, of scoring that goal, I think the floodgates might open. Because
it could open up?
Yeah, because, I mean, that's how it was with Jide's hat trick, right?
Yeah.
He scored, and then, like, 10 minutes after that, they didn't get scored, and ahí va Jite, otra vez, ahí el tercero. And that's really how Austin FC's, like, goal-scoring type of mentality has been. So I definitely see a 3-1 win. I think that's doable, definitely. And I mean, especially like after last night's party and Driussi's inspiring words.
I think
last. You say that? I know he didn't say much.
He didn't say anything.
Okay.
He just went like.
Yeah. I was wondering what maybe he said something.
Yeah,
like
Diego's the one that said, "I like all the songs from Namura because that's one of his favorite song." He's like, "I like all of them." He's come ready on Sunday, like bien político.
Yeah.
But going back to really quick to the party, I think it was needed.
I think so too. I think but not just for us fans. I think I think the players, and I wish. I mean, obviously, more than likely wasn't possible. But I wish that every single player in the squad could have been there to see that, because I mean, the atmosphere was.
Cascante, I wish you could have been there, like especially the one that has been having a rough time this season.
Exactly.
It would have just like shown like we still love you. We got we push it to the limit, but we still love you.
And I think Cascante, like specifically Cascante, I think he's one of those players where I can understand them, because when I played club, I was very emotional, and I feel like he's the same way, where it's like, damn, ya la cagué. Like, okay, but voy a seguir jugando. Like, but in the back of your head, when you get home, you're like, fuck. Like, damn, fuck.
Yeah.
And for him, I imagine it's even worse, because he not only does he have like social media and all that stuff that he has, but he does this for a living, and he has to go back and look at those plays constantly. you know, to get better and whatnot. But in the back of your head, you're like, damn, honestly, I did kind of fuck up there, you know, type of thing. Which, you know, Cascante should know, you know, that this fan base loves him.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
yeah.
he's a professional. That's
Yeah,
his
yeah.
job. So there's part of it where like, hey, at the end of the day, like you're playing, you know,
Yeah.
in a place where millions of people wish you could play. But I think you're right. You know, one, I feel like not just the players, but I feel like the people that work in the team needed this.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
yesterday,
absolutely.
Because this past couple of like months, I felt a bit of like
a little
tense,
distance, yeah.
tense distance from everyone. But yesterday, they went to their own section, but
There was a more.
there was a little
togetherness
more
than-
like everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
And when King Louis puso las cumbias y la
Ah,
banda.
Jose. And honestly, I think it's actually not, I don't think that it's that recent. I think it's more like since the whole Cecilio thing came out, really.
Yeah, we haven't had a moment to really just get together. And
Yeah, I
do
don't think
something.
I don't think it's just been like, okay, this happened and like, fuck it, let's dismiss it. Let's go. And thankfully it has worked. You know, the team
Yeah.
finished. I mean, maybe not football wise the way that we wanted to,
Mhm.
but results wise, yes. I mean, we're in second place. We're gonna get RSL, and you know the team is looking good. The only thing that I don't like going into this game is that Austin FC is going into it as a favorite.
Yeah. So
And
wanting
now
to
and
see
now
the underdog.
RSL is
Yeah.
playing
taking
the
that underdog.
underdog.
yeah.
card.
So and I just wish that if I was a coach, right? If I was Joshua, one thing that I would ingrain into these players' head: don't ever think you're superior to them,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Because the moment you start really believing that, you can think you as a player like, yeah, I'm gonna be the best. But if you as a team, as a unit, start believing that each and every single one of you is like that in a arrogant way, it's gonna backfire. It's gonna backfire.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
And that's the thing that I've noticed with a lot of the buzz around this game. I think a lot of fans, and I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes we get ahead of ourselves. We look, okay, Real Salt Lake, we're gonna win. Potentially, we're gonna go against Dallas. We're gonna finally get like.
We're already thinking ahead.
Yeah, you're already thinking. I'm
And
like, you got
You
this.
have this
fine.
game, yeah.
It's fine to dream and like,
Yeah.
you know, look at the bigger picture. Because like even right now, we're talking about Champions League, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's fine, but you got as a fan, if you don't want to get your heart broken, you have to be
Keep your feet
within
on
the
the ground.
realms of reality.
Yeah.
Because I like during the games and whatnot, I've seen people tweet Austin FC is the best team in the world. Yeah, of course. Like you're gonna feel that. You know, now do you really mean it? Of course, probably not. You know, I hope not, because you know we haven't shown really anything. But of
We
course,
gotta win titles.
Yeah, you gotta win titles. You gotta prove it on the international stage.
Right.
But it's Austin FC. If the team gives you that feeling,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good thing.
It's a good
you
thing.
know, like
But I think it's very valid what you say. Like in terms of in the locker room, they can't underestimate their opponent.
No,
they
no.
They have to play. There's a respectable opponent that is there to compete and that earned their spot in the playoff.
if they're gonna have a mentality, they can't have a mentality of superiority.
Yeah.
Right. They can't go in there thinking that because they're not. Like let's just be realistic. They're not.
And I feel like this past couple of games helped some players calmarse y no llegar muy super elevados.
Yeah, because I
Like
mean,
you can even sense it, like just in the way like they're interacting on social media.
Mhm.
Like Ruben yesterday, like he came out, like relajado.
Yeah.
Like Ring, he said a couple of things. Stuber siempre va a ser Stuber. You can always tell he's gonna, but you can just sense it like they were like, hey, just come out Sunday and come out ready to win. But you can sense them just like, hey, estamos también nosotros, one step away from a disaster.
Yeah.
If shit goes down south, but we're also one step away from greatness.
Glory. And like I said, I mean it's good to look ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to hang on to that. Because I don't know about y'all. I think if we were to we go to the second round, I'm more scared of going into that third one, into that conference final, because I don't. That's where I'm like, well, if we go to the second, we gotta either face Dallas, which we have never beat, or we face Nashville,
which we struggled with.
We struggled with a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's say LAFC goes on to conference final. We've beaten LAFC, right? We have that, for us. We haven't beat Nashville this season. We haven't beat Dallas this season. So I as a fan, that's more what I'm looking at, right? Now, how beautiful would it be that our first win against Dallas would be at home on a playoff? That'd be fucking beautiful.
That would be poetic.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Poetic.
sure.
Poetic justice if you want. But
I'm gonna write
a memoir.
Poetry memoir to whoever scored.
Right.
Los Redes.
Imagine that. We get the conference
No,
title.
ese güey se caga y yo me cago con él juntos.
In the same toilet.
In the same toilet. Holding each other like, haz de cuenta que he's holding me and I'm holding him.
Oh, shit.
Guys, man, the city is buzzing, dude.
Yeah, it's buzzing. And
we got a shitload of things. We got ACL. I think
UT's playing.
But the fucking
Clásico,
Clásico
playoffs,
and you got the playoffs. There's like so much buzz.
And the weird thing is like there's no concert until Monday at the Moody Center. So imagine if there was a concert at the Moody Center, you had playoffs, you had
this is what the vision of Austin is.
Yeah.
It should be,
Lo queríamos.
Yeah, and I'm honestly, like in the years that I've lived here in Austin, I don't think I've ever been happier living here than since all of this, honestly, because the buzz that the city that the team has brought, I've never been to a UT game.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like, right?
Right.
Recently, I've been more curious and I want to attend one.
They're like $2 a ticket, bro. It's not Saturday.
But from people that I know go and that I've gone to Austin FC games, it's not the same buzz.
It's not.
It's not the same atmosphere. It's not the same.
Very different.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm happy that the city is finally having that sense of having a big title to play for, which now we're actually playing for a title, and that to me is crazy. Because I've been able to see through TV, of course, I've been able to see Santos and Madrid win titles. There's only one title I've ever seen in person being won. And that was Santos, que le ganó un campeón de campeones de América.
So duele.
He reminded you, bro.
Yeah.
But that was the first. That was the first game that I went to, and I saw Santos campeón levantar la copa. Now I want to see my Austin FC. I want to see them lift the conference title. I want to see them win the MLS Cup. And I'm excited for that, and I'm excited for everybody.
We're all excited for it.
Yeah.
Man.
Where do you think people would gather if we were ever when we win a title?
Hop Squad.
Hop Squad.
That's the only place that really it welcomed us, because nobody's gonna go to the Capitol. We're gonna get all put in jail.
Yeah, Greg Abbott's gonna.
Greg Abbott's gonna put all these liberals in jail. So Hop Squad is the only safe haven if you look at it. Or maybe the Q2, outside of the Q2, or
probably.
Well, we'll go outside of Bocha's house. And
or with Hernan doing the fan interviews outside. Why not? Lift the guys up a little bit.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I wish We Austin TV gets access to, is to do the fan interviews inside. I think for what they're doing is like this deserves more of a stage.
I think
and
so
people
too.
And here's the reason why, because people actually do know who they are. It's not like you can have someone random that doesn't know them, that wants to just talk shit. You have someone that it's credible. I mean, just the amount of people that follow it and listen to it. I think Austin FC, if you want to build talent from within, this is your opportunity.
But within all of that, you can Austin FC is gonna have to realize that this is your fan media, right? This is not something you can or want to control.
Yeah.
You have to let them be free.
You have to let them,
You have to let the creativity flow through them, right?
You might tell them, okay, just this is where you can't go, but you cannot tell them what to say or not say.
No. If you do that Where Austin TV is not Where Austin TV. Where Austin TV is the voice of the people. Like it
Mhm.
really is, that project that has brought on the voice of the fans. I mean, I know that there's players that watch this interviews, the podcast. There's players that they actually at the day after the game or whenever they look for the interviews to drop, right? I know Driussi has watched it. I've been told, but it's also it's something that Austin FC will have to look at and be like, okay, I think if we want to have a more social interaction with their fans, more like a more genuine thing, because of course they can like mate con vos, of course they can do
But it's not
but it's
like
not the
con
same
la raza.
thing.
It's
No,
not like
no.
ahí.
And that's something, I mean, we're Austin TV, right? It's for everybody.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's the Hispanic market. And if you want to bring a Mexican player, right, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
But if you truly want to get the, because QT Stadium has a lot of Hispanic fans.
Yeah.
A lot of Hispanic fans go to QT Stadium. I would say a good 30%, maybe even more or less. That's a market that you're kind of missing on. I mean, of course, you have Austin FC doing the bilingual thing and adapting like the Hispanic culture, but you don't show that necessarily to like the people here. So if your Mexican, star power could be Hernan. Why not say Bali? That could be your representation. I mean, of course, you have Hector Jimenez.
And it could just be like say, for example, collapse.
Yeah.
That'd be the best.
Simple things like that.
Simple thing would be like something that I feel like they have to, just darles chance, vato.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, like I've told Hernan, I was like, como comentarista, I think Hernan would do a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
sure.
Adrian Healy type thing. I think Hernan would do a great job.
Yeah.
If Austin FC were to do it, I think it would be amazing for everybody.
Pones a Hernán primer tiempo, Coque segundo tiempo
Ándale.
y son las pendejadas de Richie.
La halftime segment.
No, el de color, el Jorge Campos.
El color, ándale.
El Jorge Campos de ¿cómo se llama?
De Austin.
Del Austin. El Luis García de Austin.
El Luis García.
Haz de cuenta que Hernán y Coque son el Martinoli.
El Martinoli,
y yo soy el que
ándale.
dice pura babosa.
Yeah, but that would be amazing. I think Austin FC definitely has something there for them to use.
It's so great to see the growth behind We Are Austin TV and Top Flight and some of these other podcasts as well that we've brought on the show and doing their thing, and we see like they're creating this future present and future media of Austin. So it makes me curious to know a little bit about your plans and your vision, because I know you have goals in mind. So where's your head at? What are some of the next moves you're planning to do in the near future?
So right now, I'm obviously pretty hands-on with La Peña, right? So with this project, I want to make it grow here within Austin and see how far it takes me. I mean, with Peña, I've already done something that I never dreamed of doing, which is having direct contact with the club of my dreams, right? I know that, like, let's say if tomorrow I was able to go to Madrid, I know that someone will receive me over there. I know that I have a contact there where I can be like, hey, if I go tomorrow, can I get a stadium tour? Can I, like, little things like that. I can do it. You know what I mean? Long-term goal, I mean, on the side, I'm always going to be working on my coaching. Coaching is what I want to do. It's what I feel like. I feel like that's more my calling.
It's your passion.
It's my passion because one thing that I told Hernan, I told all of the guys and everybody that I've met, I don't care what I end up doing in the future. I want to work in football. Ya sea limpiándole los calzones a Driussi, right? Ahí en de los utileros, right? You know what I mean? O
That'd be an honor.
Limpiándoles el vestidor, something like that. But I want to work in the industry. I want to be in football. And because I'm one of those that really believes that, money is important. And it's probably the most important thing. But I think your happiness and making it work within your happiness, it's a lot better. It's something that no tiene precio. O sea, there's no big job that's gonna give you that, right? So that's my long-term vision. Now that I'm on my own with this Madrid project, making it grow. I want to start doing my own, like, we're doing a Madrid podcast. That's one of the projects that but it's not just gonna be like the Austin Peña. We're doing it nationwide. So we're incorporating not just the Austin Peña, like I said, but the Brooklyn Peña, the Los Angeles Peña, San Francisco, and we're we're on the works right now. We're in talks, right, to do all of these things that are very exciting, honestly. So I want to do that. I also, within the Austin FC space, if one day, like you guys have opened, your platform, and we're Austin TV as well. I'm more than happy to collaborate with anybody and anything.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so I want to do that as well. Austin's my city. It's my home. It's where I'm from. So, and Austin FC is my team as well. So I want to work within Austin FC as well. Maybe one day, if it's not within media, I see myself, why not one day coaching Austin FC, right? Maybe I'll be the one that takes over Wolf.
Todo. Ya, ay, cabrón.
Maybe it'll be Wolf for 20 years, and I'll be his. I'll be next up. Yeah. Why not?
Man, that's good. You always gotta, whatever you want to do, you gotta.
Yeah. You gotta put it out there. You gotta be out there, and you gotta chase it.
Yeah. You can't just be like, I want to do this, and de repente, the project didn't flow.
And I've had setbacks, like everybody. I feel like I've learned that it's okay to have those setbacks. I had a whole different timeline of what I wanted to be when I was 25. I'm about to turn 24, and I'm like...
Que eres casado con 3 hijos, fuerte no mames.
Ándale, no, que chicas, ya no. Pero, like now, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to have a setback, I have a deadline for me to have my pro license by the time that I am 35.
You're 6 years away?
No. 35? No.
Oh, wait, no. You're 9 years away.
Yeah.
I'm the accountant over here.
I was like... I got some time. But I want to have my pro license, and that I want to, between that time, I want to be able to have a coaching gig. Now, if that coaching gig, along with my job, does not allow me to be involved with La Peña as being a director of media and this and that, that's where I'm going to have to step aside and be like, you know what, I'm sorry. This is what my dream is, I love growing with this. Social media is not like my strong forte.
Yeah.
But it's one way of getting myself in the industry. You know what I mean? It's one way of getting to know. A way in. De algo se empieza. Sí, claro, no. But you have to build those steps. It's like I have this conversation with Alexi, Danny's brother.
El Plaza.
Alexi Plaza.
Saludo al primo. Because my last name is Plaza.
So. Oh, también. So yeah, I've had this conversation with him, and it's like. We've come to the agreement that, like, just live it, enjoy it, and see where it takes you, because it's the journey that's gonna make this worth it, right? And if you enjoy your journey, you grow as a person, you grow and just have that overall growth. Te va a ir bien. And that's really how I see it. Even in pickup, you and I have played together a couple times. I do not like to lose in that, because I like to win and give it my all in that. So that's how I'm approaching coaching as well. I want to give it my all in every single step that I can. That's
good, man. That's good. No, but Nef, it was an honor having you here.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Story, sharing your trip to to
Vegas,
to Vegas, and
hopefully Madrid one day.
You know what? Ahí estás al lado del Florentino. Ahí que
ándale ahí
así como cholo.
Con mi Tito.
Con el Tito.
Yes, man. Yes, thank you for sharing so much about your life and your goals and your passions, giving us a little insight into what the Peña Madridista is, particularly here in Austin, and we recognize your work and what you've done
Thank you.
for the football community and for our community, and you're a young guy with big hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that us here at Otra Por Favor can do to help you and push you along your journey, please reach out, man. The door is always open.
I appreciate that. Thank you guys for opening your doors to me and to my project. And I mean, I want to open up the door to you guys as well. Anything that I can help you guys with. We can collab and do any type of event, something like that. Of course,
for sure, man.
But also to for this Sunday, the Austin FC fans that are. We all have a big weekend coming up.
Huge.
Yeah. Like my boy Primo, who's getting married on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
Shout out to Primo.
Primo
Congratulations, bro.
Tying the knot. Ya se nos fue.
Ya se nos fue. Casi, yeah.
Ya, otro sacrificado.
Yeah, so it'll be
okay, man. Join the club.
So I heard Primo, so there's el Dios está loco es del agua. Y como hay sequía, dijeron, tenemos que sacrificar uno para que pueda llover el domingo.
That's him.
Y ese fue
Ya fue el sacrificado. But yeah, he's going to have his wedding on Saturday. And then Sunday early morning is also el Clásico, which for any Madrid fans or anybody that wants to come watch the game, we're gonna be at Hop Squad. We're gonna have some breakfast, options for whoever wants to come and watch the game.
Okay.
And if you want to stay, a little longer, Austin FC game's not long after that. So I mean, I already have my day planned out. So I'm gonna be at Hop Squad for
Traes la verde con negro abajo, pero la blanca arriba y la otra la quitas.
Yeah, of course.
It's called layers.
Layers.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cold, so
so why not? Yeah, but so that's how I'm gonna have my day. I'm gonna be there in the morning, gonna grab a bite, and then just wait for the Austin FC game. Which I mean, we're gonna have to be there early anyways, right? For that Yeti. For that Yeti Cup.
Sunday is a holy day. For sure.
Yeah.
The day of the Lord.
Some people go to Q2,
Some
right?
people go to Q2.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah,
that's a great way to end it, man.
Yeah,
Well, appreciate you having you, man.
Thank you, Nef.
Guys.
Hey, razas se cuidan bien, se portan Dios, se portan... Razas se cuidan bien, adiós y arriba la América.
Y Driussi Dior.
Driussi Dior.
Let's go, Austin FC, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go.